Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vrindavan Paramahansa Paribhasakacharya Ashto Tarastasisi Man Sri Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jaya Vrindavan Paramahansa Paribhasakacharya Ashto Tarastasisi Man Sri Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. A reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 87, beginning with text number 10, although I would prefer that we repeat texts 12 and 13, that they have more significance. There's some purport and some a little more, not just story, but actually some philosophical content. Svatadvipam gatavati Svaidrashtum tadishwaram Pramavada susambita Shutayo yatra shirate Tattahayam abut prashnas Mamam yam anuprichasi. Translation. At that time, you happened to be visiting the Lord on Svetadvip, that Supreme Lord in whom the Vedas lie down to rest during the period of universal annihilation. A lively discussion arose among the sages of Janaloka as to the nature of the supreme absolute truth. Indeed, the same question arose then that you are asking me now. Om Jnana-timirandasya gananjana sharakaya chakshurum militam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakata Mahyam Darati Swaparantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So just to mention, why would Narada Muni, if he was there when this question was asked, why did he not remember it? No, I mean, he's Narada Muni, he's not like us. We can forget anything, no. So, this is Yogamaya potency that allows this question to become manifest by Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami also in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, it explains that he also at one point was bewildered. And of course, this is also mentioned in the Bhagavatam, bewildered by Mayavad philosophy, because the two first questions, I'll say the beginning of the chapter and the real question is being, and the answer to that question, which Jiva Goswami answered in 21 pages of purport, 21-page purport. So you can imagine the depth of the question. And the depth of his answer. Sanatana Goswami, also a very long explanation, which is very difficult to understand, certainly beyond my capacity. But the point is that the question and the answer is basically the same as in the beginning of the 12th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. Is the Lord personal or impersonal? So how can the Vedas convey? And the real answer is that they can convey something that can be conveyed, but something that is intangible, unperceivable as Brahman. Therefore, Brahman cannot be explained. But we all, and therefore the answer is that the Lord gives intelligence, gives the mind, gives the senses, gives perception, so that we can understand, even if it's indirectly, because nobody can understand Krishna perfectly. He says that in Bhagavad-Gita, that I know everything past, present, and future, but me no one knows. And then again in the 10th chapter, he says, the demigods, I am the source of the great sages and the demigods, but they don't understand me. So no one can really know Krishna, but by the words of the Vedas, we can never know Brahman. We can understand Brahman as his effulgence and the manifestation of his power. But because his power is unlimited, Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate, his potency is manifested in unlimited Shaktis. So how are we going to understand his unlimited Shaktis? We can't even understand unlimited. We can't even understand eternal. We see everything in terms of beginning and end. So therefore, very difficult for us to understand. But these descriptions, because as Krishna describes in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, that these descriptions are coming from the reflection of reality, which is the material world, which is personality, which is all these things that mean so much to us. All personality, interaction, family, friends, all these things are coming from Krishna, but in a perverted reflection in the material world. But still we relate to them with great desire for happiness, because Sachit Ananda Vigraha, we are composed of bliss in our original condition, and that gets translated into fleeting happiness, that the fleeting happiness of the material world. And Krishna describes the material world, dukkhalayama shashvatam. It's temporary, it's miserable, and even if you get accustomed to misery, even if what a devotee would see as miserable, we may see as enjoyable. Even if you get accustomed to that and you like it, it's temporary. It will go away. You can't preserve it. So the point is that, so Narada Muni, Krishna, even his great devotee may not remember. Krishna begins the 4th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita by saying, I remember everything, Arjuna, but you don't remember because you have to take birth. And when you get your head squeezed through that little orifice, taking birth, you don't remember anything. No, you remember many things. A few months before you're born, you start to remember things, and then it all blanks out because your head gets squeezed. And we just get a little knock on our head, and we forget so many things. We can get amnesia or permanent memory damage. What to speak of having your head squeezed, and your little undeveloped brain just gets everything kind of washed out. So anyway, so he forgot. So we'll go to the next verse. Tulya Shuta Tapashilas Tula Swiyari Madhyama Apichakru Pravachanam Ekam Shushu Shavopare. Translation. Although these sages were all equally qualified in terms of Vedic study and austerity, and although they all saw friends, enemies, and neutral parties equally, they chose one of their numbers to be the speaker, and the rest became eager listeners. So there's a saying, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. No. So this is our tendency. We all want to appear to be intelligent. And out of false ego, we want to exhibit our intelligence. Just like if someone tells you something you already know, generally say, I know that. No, you want to make sure that they know that you know that I'm intelligent. No, we can't. But here we see these great sages, all of whom were equally qualified. They chose a speaker and they listened eagerly. Just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Srivas was petitioned by this austere brahmachari, to enter into the kirtan, he said, I'm sorry, this is RSVP. No, this is by invitation only. And only by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's invitation can you come. And he said, he gave his arguments, I only drink milk, I do this, I do that, I'm so austere, I know I should be there. So finally Srivas thought, he's pious, let him come, but we'll hide him, I'll hide him. And immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu detected his presence and then called him out, and he said, you think that by drinking milk you can understand Krishna? No. Even you think by your Brahminical intelligence, even an elephant understood the Lord by the bhakti. And even the gopis, simple village women, worship the Supreme Lord in perfect bhakti by their devotion. And even monkeys assisted the Lord in his form of Ramachandra. What is their great qualification other than their love for the Lord? And so he chastised him. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, take him away. So they were taking him out, and he was thinking that I'm so fortunate, even if they throw me out, I'm so fortunate that I was chastised by the Lord. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, bring him back. Now he has realized. Realization is something that happens. Transformation of the heart. It happens. It's not something that you can recreate materially. No. And so then he put his feet on the head of that devotee. Became a devotee immediately. And the point I wanted to make is all the devotees offered obeisances. They didn't think, oh, why is he getting so much mercy? He didn't put his feet on my head like we would do. No. Why is this person getting more than me? I'm more qualified. No, I have more years in Krishna consciousness, or whatever we may claim as our fame. So the point is that this is the humble mood. Just like in beginning of this canto, it says that Vasudeva Kata Prashna, that these questions about Vasudeva, Purusham Trin Punatihi, there are three persons who are qualified to hear. Bhaktaram, the speaker, Prachchakam, the listener, and Shrotims, and those the audience. And Yatpada Salilam Yata, just like the waters of the Ganga purify everyone, purify the three worlds. So we should be eager to hear. This is the qualification. Whatever your position is, even the speaker is eager to hear. Srila Prabhupada on several occasions, he had devotees reading his books, and then he said, read that again. And devotees were bewildered. Prabhupada, you wrote it? And Prabhupada said, no, Krishna's dictated this. No. Otherwise, he himself is eager to hear his own books. No. We might also be eager to hear our own whatever we say, but not for the same reason. He's eager to hear because, as the verse, Aham ved me, Sukho vetti, Vyasa vetti navetti va, that Lord Shiva says, I know the Bhagavatam. And Shukadev, he knows, but he's putting a little bit of doubt there. He probably knows. Vyasa vetti navetti. Vyasa, he may know and he may not know. So how could he not know? He's Vyasa, he wrote it. No. Then Bhaktya Bhagavatam Grahyam. It can only be understood through parampara. That's the point. And in the parampara, you may know or you may not know. If we're conditioned souls, we may not fully understand or realize even what we're speaking about. But because we're taking from an authorized source, then we know. Then what we're speaking is knowledge. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, being guru is not such a big thing. No. He said many times, of all his definitions of guru, his main definition was, not such a big thing. You just repeat what you have heard. Don't add and don't subtract. No. This is the qualification. Of course, to achieve that, we've understood over the years, that's not so easy. To keep from speculating or keep from subtracting something doesn't make sense according to my very limited, minuscule intelligence. It doesn't make any sense. Even if I happen to have a very capable brain, many things don't make sense. Just like I was saying about the Jiva Goswami's purport to the second verse in this chapter. It's like you have to read it. I would have to read it about 20 times and maybe I would understand something. And just to read it 20 times would take weeks. It's so long and so deep. And we all have service to do. And Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Tadvidi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya, when he spoke about this 3 times, I heard him speaking 3 times the same thing. He said, first, Pratipatena. First, you have a humble attitude. Then, Sevaya. then you do service. And then prashna, then you will know what to ask. No. Otherwise, if you don't do service, you will ask so many things that are useless. No. And Prabhupada said, don't waste the time of the spiritual master. No. With useless, irrelevant question. Therefore, sometimes Srila Prabhupada would say, that is not a good question. No. Because it wasn't pertaining to the verse. It's not adding to the understanding, the depth of what's being discussed. And so anyway, so this is a very wonderful thing. The rest became eager listeners. We should always be eager listeners for the Bhagavatam. Sometimes right here, Srila Prabhupada would have, sometimes devotees would be speaking and Prabhupada would come and listen to see if they're understanding properly. But even when he was listening, he himself, just like one time in one Vyas Puja, Prabhupada just spoke for 2 or 3 minutes. And then he asked all the devotees that were there, you speak. And of course they were very new. This was like, very, very young devotees, 2 or 3 years in the movement. But Prabhupada told them all to speak. And Prabhupada was very afterwards. He commented, no, I am very happy that you are learning. So Prabhupada was listening. And so why shouldn't we, if Prabhupada was eager to listen, why should we not be eager to listen? Prabhupada would listen to his own books. Why should we not be eager to listen? Even if the person speaking is not so expert, maybe not so much time, but if they're speaking sincerely, we should be eager to hear. And sometimes I see, especially those who are managers, myself included, sometimes we don't hear the Bhagavatam because we're thinking I'm very busy. But this is the main business. Just like one time, I've mentioned this several times, but I was with a devotee, we were reading the Bhagavatam. He had a problem. So I said, why don't we read the Bhagavatam? And so we started reading, and he said, Prabhu, why? I want to speak about reality. And I said, I thought this was reality, What you want to speak about is illusion. No, this is reality. So he said, all right, but still, he wasn't satisfied. But that's the problem. When we have some desire, either we have a desire that we want to fulfill, or we have a desire that became frustrated. It becomes like a burning issue in our mind. And we can't hear, we can't chant. I've seen the people, I've experienced this myself, and I've seen many people. I just see them sitting there, the bead bag in the hand, and nothing's happening. What's problem? Because this and that. I said, but this is the solution right here. There's not another solution. So we'll read these and repeat. Please, all of you. These are 2 verses, so I can request everyone that when you repeat, just repeat one of them and let someone else repeat the other one. So this is text 12 and 13. Shri Sanandana Uvacha Swashishtam idam apya Sanyanam sahashaktivi Tarante bodhayam chakshus Talingai shutaya param Yata shayanam samrajam parakramai Patyushe betyasu shloker Bodhayan jnanu jivina. Everyone please. Shri Sanandana. Shri Sanandana. The exalted mind-born son of Brahma, who was chosen to reply to the sage's inquiry Uvacha said, Swa by himself, Shrishtam created, Idam this universe, Apiya having withdrawn, Shayanam lying asleep, Saha with Shakti his energies, Tat of that period of universal dissolution, Ante at the end, Bodhayam Chakru they awakened him, Tat his Lingae with descriptions of his characteristics. Shrutaya, the Vedas. Param, the Supreme. Yata, just as. Shayanam, sleeping. Samrajam, a king. Vadina, his court poets. Tat, his. Parakramae, with recitations of the heroic deeds. Pratyushe, at dawn. Abetya, approaching him. Sushloke, poetic. Podayanti, they awaken. Anujivina, his servants. Translation and purport. Sri Sanandana replied, after the Supreme Lord withdrew the universe he had previously created, he lay for some time as if asleep, and all his energies rested dormant within him. When the time came for the next creation, the personified Vedas awakened him by chanting his glories, just as the poets serving a king approach him at dawn and awaken him by reciting his heroic deeds. So everyone can please repeat. Sri Sanandana replied, after the Supreme Lord withdrew the universe he had previously created, he lay for some time as if asleep, and all his energies rested dormant within him. When the time came for the next creation, the personified Vedas awakened him by chanting his glories, just as the poets serving a king approach him at dawn and awaken him by reciting his heroic deeds. Purports. At the time of creation, the Vedas are the first emanation from the breathing of Lord Mahavishnu, and in personified form they serve him by waking him from mystic sleep. This statement made by Sanandana implies that Sanaka and the other sages had asked him the same question that Narada had asked Narayan Rishi and Maharaj Parikshit had asked Shukadev Goswami. Sanandana refers the question back to the example of the personified Vedas themselves in their address to Lord Mahavishnu. Even though the Vedas knew that the Lord, being omniscient, does not need to be informed of his glories, they enthusiastically took this opportunity to praise him. So, there are some different references here. First of all, the Vedas are praying to Mahavishnu. So, whenever everything becomes wrapped up in Mahavishnu, either partially or completely, the Vedas, because the Lord is sleeping, Yoga Nidra, he's, for him, creation is sleep. He sleeps when he creates also. And he's being massaged by Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi. And so in that sense, the whole material world is just a dream. It's just his dream. Everything that's happening here, he's doing it by sleeping. And I always make this point that, this is how much effort it takes the Lord. It takes us so much effort just to move a few kilos of matter from one place to another. Just like the other day, I was watching some men unloading a truck, and they put this big bag on shoulders and carrying it. But the Lord is manifesting unlimited universes and managing everything by sleep. Of course, he expands himself into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And then he expands into unlimited Shivas, and everything expands. But still, it's all being done. The Lord, his effort is to sleep. And Krishna, he's not even interested. He's, people want to, their conception of God, who is Krishna, is that, he should be totally absorbed in what I'm doing. That's the conception. Even in India, although it's more in the West, but even in India, that I came to pray to the deities. I brought some bananas and coconuts, and I'm giving him some bananas and coconuts, or I'm giving him 500 rupees, or even I'm giving him 1 crore. But what do I want from him? I want many crores, and I want so many things. So it's almost an insult to the Lord that I'll give you some bananas and coconuts and you give me a house and a car. So not thinking he's not a very good business person. That I can give coconuts and you give me a car. And but a devotee doesn't think this way. A devotee thinks, I don't want to disturb the Lord. So even the personified Vedas, they don't want to disturb the Lord, but they're thinking, even though he's the Supreme Lord, this whole material, what's going on in this material world, is so distasteful for the Lord, because he's living in Vaikuntha, or he's lying on the causal ocean, and he's in constant association with Lakshmi, and enjoying constant yoga nidra. This is that Mahavishnu expansion. He stays in that state and relishes. He relishes everything that's his creative potency. But he's not relishing what we do with his creative potency. And therefore the Vedas find some reason, some logic in waking him up. Waking him up so that this can happen. Exactly what's happening here. Questions and answers. Even in the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, in the second chapter of the first canto, Sutta Goswami says that Muneyai Sadhu Pishto Ham, that I think your question is very good, because Bhavat-bir Loka Mangalam, because it is beneficial for all the living entities. Everyone will benefit from this. Yat Krita Krishna Samprashno, because these questions are about Krishna. Otherwise, he's saying basically any other question is a waste of time. If it's not about Krishna, why ask it? Of course, in function, we may have functional questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? Even in devotional service, we may have functional questions. Somebody tells you to clean the floor, where are the cleaning materials? So it's a functional question. But it has to do with devotional service. So ultimately, every question should come to the point of dealing with something related to Krishna consciousness. And even the most mundane, apparently mundane question, if one is actually in Krishna consciousness, one will see that question in the proper perspective, and will actually be able to relate it to Krishna. And therefore Krishna says, Yad karoshi arashnasi, yad jujosi dadasiya, tapasyasvi konteya. Everything you do, eat, think about, give up, take, offer, or give up, or you accept, whatever, it all should be an offering to me. And so, these questions, yayatma supasidati, that Sutta Goswami says, this will satisfy the soul. And then he gives the first answer to the question, Savaipum samparodha, that the supreme activity for everyone is bhakti-yoga prayojitaha, that adoksaje, that bhakti-yoga adoksaje. One should, to one's capability, adoksaja means up to one's capability. Because adoksaja, Srila Prabhupada explained it different ways, different times. The one I like, aja aksha aja, that person who is unborn, or whose our sensual ability is unborn in being able to understand him. Otherwise, we don't have the ability to conjure up, to create enough intelligence to be able to understand the Lord. But to the degree that your ability, and this deals with the whole question that begins this chapter and the answer. Therefore, the Lord gives intelligence. But what kind of, the Dhammi Buddhi Yogam Tam? He gives the real intelligence. And he says, where does that intelligence come from? So right in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna answers that question, which was given at the beginning of the chapter. He answers it by saying, Tesham Satata Yuktanam, that if you're always united with me in Priti Purvakam, in pure loving devotion, then I will give you that intelligence, that special intelligence that goes beyond the words of the Vedas. Just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to reveal himself to his devotees, because they were wondering, just like the residents of Vrindavan were wondering, what's happening? Krishna, all the time, there's some big demon comes, and when we get there, the demon's dead, and Krishna's standing there smiling. And all of his friends are saying that Krishna did it. They couldn't believe it until they saw Govardhan Leela. Then they became a little philosophical. And they were asking Nanda Maharaj, who is your son? How is he doing this? How did he do that? And then, of course, Yoga Maya came in, and they just forgot about all that. But Krishna can smile, and Yoga Maya overcomes everyone. Just like we see Krishna's smile here, and whatever Mahamaya is there, it washes away just by seeing, hopefully, by seeing Krishna's smile. See, here's Krishna playing his flute, showing us the only thing you have to do is enjoy. If you're just Tesham Satata Yuktanam, if you're always joined with me, then you don't have any problems. The only problems only arise when you're not united with me. And Krishna says it so many times. So Lord Chaitanya decided to first he revealed himself, but in a very unique way, to Srivas by bursting into his temple and saying he was worshiping Lord Nrsingadev. He said, "Who are you worshiping?" And he didn't even have time to answer. He said, "Worship me." And he got up on the throne of Vishnu and said, worship me. He revealed who he was, and Srivas, even the maidservants and the help in his house, they all became pure devotees right at that moment, just by performing the Abhishek of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he was near the house of Murari Gupta, and someone had some pigs, and he saw the pigs, and he said, "Baraha, Baraha." He ran into the house of Murari Gupta. And then there was a big water pot, big round water pot. And he picked it up, and then he transformed into Varahadev, and he put it on his tusks. And Murari was like, here's the person who, when I was younger, I was trying to defeat him philosophically. And now, he's, who is this person? And then he said, Murari, glorify me. And Murari said, how can I glorify you when the Vedas are not capable of glorifying you adequately? And then Varahadev, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Varahadev said, don't speak to me about the Vedas. Just like Krishna said to Arjuna, Trigunya Vishaya Veda Nistrigunya Bhava Arjuna, that be very careful with the Vedas because they deal mostly with the three modes of nature. Go beyond them. Otherwise, go beyond the modes of nature. Then you'll be able to understand the Vedas. So that's the answer to the question. You have to go beyond. And how can you go beyond Brahman? No. The impersonalists, they want to merge into Brahman. They can't go beyond it. No. Although they think they can. They think, I'll become Narayan, and then when I become Narayan, I can merge into Brahman. No. That's why Prakashananda Saraswati and his associates, when they saw the Lord, his effulgence coming out, they thought, he made it. He made it. He's become Narayan. Let's find out the secret. No. But then the Lord defeated their whole philosophy and made them into devotees. But as Srila Prabhupada said one time, the Mayavadis are very foolish. No? They want to become one with God, but devotees become greater than God. No? Otherwise, because Krishna becomes subordinate to his devotee, of course the devotee doesn't want that. The materialistic devotees, they want that. Yeah, let Krishna do something for me. No. And therefore Krishna won't do it. No. But when you don't want, when you just want to do everything for Krishna, then Krishna, he becomes, what Srila Prabhupada said in the introduction to the teachings of Lord Kapila. He said, the Lord takes full charge of a devotee's life when he cries out to the Lord just like a child helplessly crying for his mother. A child is totally helpless. So when the devotee becomes helpless, I don't rely anymore on my material intelligence, my mental activity, my sensual perception. I simply take your words, your instructions, my dear Lord, and that which is descending upon me through your parampara. That's my life and soul. As Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said in Vyavasayatmika Buddhi here, the purport to that verse, he says that one should make, and this was Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, when he read that, he said, I've understood the principle of Guru. It means that the word as Narottam Das Thakur said, the words emanating from your lotus mouth are everything to me. There's nothing else for me. Only that is what composes my consciousness. My consciousness is composed of the words emanating from your lotus mouth. Nothing else matters. So when we reach that stage, then yes, Krishna he takes charge. And when he takes charge and we respond, then he wants to become subordinate to his devotee. Whatever the devotee desires. Just like when Krishna was crawling between the Yamala Arjuna trees, he was thinking, why should I liberate these two rascals? No. He was thinking like that. Because Narada Muni wants it. That's why. And so Krishna becomes, Bhritya Vashyata. He becomes subordinate to the love of his devotee. So this is what, and then finally Murari Gupta began to glorify the Lord and he became very happy. And then he took the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again. And Murari Gupta, Srivas didn't see, he thought this is something very special that the Lord's giving me. But Murari Gupta began to broadcast everywhere, that Nimai Pandit, he is Krishna. And nobody could believe. And then he began to reveal himself in the Mahapraharana Lila. To all his pure devotees who he had selected to participate in his kirtans, he revealed who he was. And even to some who weren't there, like Kolavecha Sridhar, he revealed who he was. So this is the Lord's desire. And therefore, because the Lord is so elevated, even some of our acharyas, on commenting on these particular verses, they say that actually the personified Vedas, they also have to wake up Krishna. Because even at the time of total universal absorption, that even Mahavishnu becomes absorbed within Krishna. So they have to awaken Krishna. And what is that awakening Krishna? They awaken Krishna because Krishna is absorbed in Braja Lila, or Dwarka Lila. So they have to remind him, now you have to allow Mahavishnu to manifest. Oh, yeah. So we can't be thinking that Krishna has to solve my little material problem, whatever is bothering me. We should think, as the wonderful class yesterday about Sankirtan, we should think, where is this audience? Just like I just mentioned in how the Bhagavatam says, beginning of the 10th canto, that the listeners, who are the listeners? For when we go into the realm of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, the listeners are everyone on this planet. No. Just like someone just sent me this morning a picture of Modi giving Bhagavad-Gita to Putin. No. So, I mean, by Krishna's arrangement, everybody's getting this Bhagavad-Gita. No. Even, presidents, leaders, kings. And this is what Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada wanted these people especially to get his books, and he wanted us to preach to these people. Because if they accept Krishna consciousness, to whatever degree, or they accept that there's something very nice about this Bhagavad Gita, then the whole world will be transformed. So when I saw that, I could see the golden age, it's manifesting. Because Srila Prabhupada said the only way to avoid world war is by the Sankirtan movement. It's the only way. So when I saw that, and right during the marathon, right during Prabhupada's marathon, I thought, what a message that is being sent to us. That here the Prime Minister, during the Prabhupada marathon, Prime Minister of India is doing Sankirtan. So, how much more we should be trying to distribute these books, so that when the Prime Minister sees that these Bhagavad Gitas are everywhere, or the President or whoever, then they'll think, what is the message in this? At some point, Putin and everyone who gets this Gita will read it, because just by touching that Gita, something enters into their heart. It may take some time to manifest. Maybe not even in this lifetime. No. Let's hope so, because that would be a wonderful transformation. Then build a big palace for the devotees in Moscow, because they're doing such a wonderful thing for humanity. That would be wonderful. We don't know what will manifest. And so many presidents of different countries, the Pope, the present Pope, he's also got his Bhagavad Gita. So let's see what happens. What is Lord Chaitanya? We're simply instruments. We're here instruments, and we do whatever Lord Chaitanya wants us to do in regard to this Sankirtan movement. That's our business. And that business is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said three things that a devotee must do, or three goals that a devotee achieves. And I always see them in this order: Vaishnava Seva. When you do Vaishnava Seva, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was asked by Satyaraj Khan, No. How can a person like me absorbed in material life, what is my hope? He said, Vaishnava Seva, Krishna Seva, Nirantara Krishna Nam Sankirtan. He said, you serve the Vaishnava. First thing he said, serve the Vaishnavas. And by doing that, you will serve Krishna. And the best service to Krishna is Nirantara Krishna Nam, is incessantly chanting the holy name, Kirtaniya Sadahari. And how do we get Kirtaniya Sadahari? We know from Shikshastika. It's not an easy thing. First you develop humility, constant humility, not just every once in a while, or not fake humility, no, internal humility, and tolerance. No, and not tolerating what we have to tolerate. Just like if you get in a traffic jam, you have to tolerate, whether you like it or not. And so, but that's not tolerance. Tolerance means understand that everything that's happening is happening under the will, even if it's carried out by his Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No? And then when we understand this all comes from Vaishnava Seva. And then if you perform this Vaishnava Seva, then Nami Ruchi, you get a taste for the holy name. And when you get a taste for the holy name, then Jive Doya. Then you can feel, to some degree, the compassion that Srila Prabhupada manifested. I mean, we can, not to the degree that if someone ever becomes that fortunate, my obeisance to that person millions of times. But to some degree, if we chant properly, if we serve the Vaishnavas, then we will feel compassion. And that compassion will allow us to become bona fide and worthy servants of Srila Prabhupada and of our Parampara. So these are some thoughts on this verse. The bell is ringing, telling me that time to shut up. No, and I've said enough. And but if there's any quick question, someone may have a comment. Comments would be better than questions, but anyone has one? Yeah.
So you're talking that the first principle is service and serving the Vaishnavas. And by serving the Vaishnavas, we become happier, develop the qualities to be able to hear and understand bhakti better. But since that there's so, like you said, we're busy, we have so many other things to do, so how can we always relate everything to the service? Sometimes you have to say yes to some people and no to some people, and some people may like it and some people may not like it, and you're thinking, well, I'm trying to do service, but not everyone's liking it, and some are liking, but some are not liking.
Yeah.
So how do you justify all these things?
Well, most people like the yeses, they don't like the no's so much. But if you say yes to somebody who doesn't like that person, then the yes will become unpalatable. So managing is unpalatable. That's all I can say. But Prabhupada gave us this duty. We have to manage this movement. He could manage by his purity. He could manage everything and everyone was satisfied. Eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. Krishna is the one person who can satisfy everyone. And his topmost pure devotee can satisfy everyone. Although sometimes, even some devotees would be bewildered by some things that Prabhupada said or did. But, so we're representing him, and the price for representing him is that we have to accept, just like that famous pastime where, I think it was Shrutakirti Prabhu that was, with Prabhupada and said that Damodar Maharaj wanted to see him, and Prabhupada said, just tell him I'm sleeping, I'm resting when he comes, because Damodar Maharaj would complain about things. And so Damodar Maharaj came, I want to see Swami Maharaj. And he said, oh, he's resting. He said, you just tell him I'm here. He will see me. No, he said, maybe you, no, you tell him. And then Prabhupada could see a predicament. So Prabhupada came out and said, why didn't you tell me that Damodar Maharaj was here? So, the devotee, we have to accept some burden for the spiritual master. And I can definitely say I never wanted to manage anything, but somehow or another from 1978 to the present day, I've always been involved in management. I just wanted to distribute books, and he was saying, that's what I thought would be my life. Just go out and distribute books. Then I became a temple president, and this and that.
You also said a guru is easy. Be a guru is just very easy, just repeat. But then when you become guru, people depend on you like you're their father, you're their guide, and then all their personal shortcomings become a concern for you as a guru. So how is it so simple being a guru?
Well, some people just see the external part. You get some Mahaprasadam, people will give you some donations, so you set up for life.
I have to sign up. Where do you sign up for that guru thing?
But, and of course, everything depends on how you do it. Because some people may sign up for that reason, and then they'll find it wasn't exactly what I expected. Just like I can tell anybody who's initiated people, in the first year, everything seems peachy, creamy. Everybody's nice, everybody's enthusiastic, everybody's surrendered. But then after a few years, the anarthas come out. And then you have to deal with all kinds of things. Not that everybody will just obey and do what I say. And so then you realize this is a big responsibility that I've accepted. But if we accept it with purity, just wanting to represent Srila Prabhupada, then he gives us the strength and the ability to do whatever we're doing. Because, if whatever you are, a temple president, you're a guru. Any position that we accept in this transcendental movement, you're a guru of someone. The husband is guru of the wife. Sometimes the wife is the guru of the husband. Kali Yuga, especially these things. So the son sometimes is guru of the father. And so whenever you accept you have some knowledge, or you have something, and you give it to others, you become guru. And that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order. Amara Gyaya Guru Hanyatara Desh. You must be guru. Not that I'm a disciple and someone's the guru. No, the guru is teaching you how to be guru. And you have to do it because Lord Chaitanya is giving that order. No one can escape. No, he says, Ataiva ami agya dirun sabakari tahan chahan tahan Krishna prema pala deha jari tari. I order everyone in the universe. You must become guru. No one is exempt. Everyone. So, and with it comes the burden of responsibility.
You're going to say something.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, you spoke about serving a devotee. There is no better example in our experience like Srila Prabhupada. He was completely dedicated to Bhaktisiddhanta. He served Bhaktisiddhanta. As a result of it, Bhaktisiddhanta transferred so much blessing to Srila Prabhupada that Prabhupada was able to create the Hare Krishna movement based on the blessings he got from Bhaktisiddhanta. And it goes so far that Prabhupada, in his last moment, when in his room, the last thing he spoke was, everything moving and non-moving, there's nothing but Krishna. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. These are the last words he spoke, that he was at the last moment of his life, he was exhibiting his exalted state, that he saw Krishna everywhere and Krishna everything in him, it was due to his service to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Hare Krishna.
That's a good point. First, serving the Vaishnava doesn't mean I bring him a plate of prasadam or something. No, the greatest service to the Vaishnavas is giving Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada did that service to the whole world. And that service is still going on in his absence, in his physical absence, not his spiritual. His spiritual presence is there more than ever. But in his physical absence, it goes on and on. That's service to the Vaishnava. So whatever service we can do, if we do it sincerely, it will go on. It will become planted within the heart, and the heart of that person will also do the same. If we're sincere, and that's what Prabhupada said, just be sincere, and this movement will go on. So, thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna.